This is Trophy Gold, the Ghost of Mistmoor, Part 3, and the finale session as well. Quick recap. So ultimately, the last thing that happened is you all managed to gain entry into the vault, which is actually the portal to which is one of the paintings of a Geno. And we got to see Mouse have a bit of a moral quandary because Mouse is trying to destroy said paintings, but this painting is actually the access to the treasure. And so that was interesting. But you got inside the vault. Turns out that Erebus, the necromancer, who is the Raven, is trapped in the vault. But also, Lord Mistmoor murdered all of his commercial and social rivals and put their bodies in the vault. And so the necromancer plus bodies equals loads of time for the necromancer to animate all of them. And so there are now skeletons bursting forth from piles of treasure, sort of George Romero smashed up with Scrooge McDuck situation as skeletons are rising up. And I will tell you, it's a near overwhelming amount of skeletons. You can fight them, but it's going to be a hard fight. And you don't know how to escape the vault. Now, here is the thing. In the text of the dungeon, the vault portion is in the subterranean portion of the text. And so I think that means it counts as being, you can learn the escape method here. But the only way to do it in this moment is to spend 3 hunt roll tokens. So if you still have 3 hunt roll tokens remaining, we can do that. This might be a good time to just really quickly recap some basics about the characters at this point. So I will say, it looks like Talbot has 3 burdens, 0 cash gold, though some treasure's worth gold, 0 tokens according to this, and 5 ruin. Talbot's in a pretty perilous place right now. Sister Reyna has 3 burdens, 0 cash gold, but does have some other treasures worth gold, 2 tokens, and 4 ruin. Mouse has 3 burdens, 0 cash gold, 0 tokens, and 4 ruin. There is the plot twist. I don't think you can do it. So
not in a great spot.
It's not in a good spot. I will give you an opportunity. Maybe Talbot might want to take that opportunity, although it's very dangerous for Talbot. You might be kind of sacrificing yourself here, Talbot. But I will give you all the opportunity to try to use a ritual to stop this first. But if failing that, we could go to combat. We can do combat instead if you think that's the safer option. Mechanically, it might be the safer option. But anyway. Also, as far as the characters go, Talbot has the condition, the Raven. Sister Reyna also has the same condition, the Raven. And Mouse has the condition, claustrophobia. This situation probably isn't helping Mouse.
No, it's not. Even if it's a very large vault, the fact that we are fully trapped here is not great.
Not great. I think because of that, I'm going to basically give you no say in how this gets resolved. I think you're just too busy being freaked out. And so really it's going to come down to Adrian and Mark out of character to decide what's the best approach here, because Erebus has no motivation to treat with you. He's just going to destroy you with skeletons. What do you think?
One possibility that came up, Adrian, is I could have Talbot use wail to maybe I can make enough of a disconcerting sound that it'll disrupt Erebus's casting. Like maybe they'll slow down the rate at which the skeletons animate. That's a possibility.
Not a bad one. Not a bad one.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to try ritual, that's fine.
It could slow down the casting long enough for you all to do a hunt roll to try to get one last token to figure out like how to get out. That's also an option too, or that might be like a good entree for that.
I guess ultimately might be worth a try.
Yeah, ultimately, what I need to know if you're going to do this risk roll, Talbot, is what are the stakes? Like, what are you actually trying to accomplish with the whale?
I'm trying to I'm assuming Erebus is doing sort of chanting, doing some kind of magic ritual to make these skeletons animate. So I'm trying to make the whale to make enough of a sound that it actually impairs his ability and breaks his concentration, so that it'll slow down his ability to buy us enough time to maybe find an escape before these skeletons kill
or
us
take
all.
some, or just some other decisive action, right? Yeah,
Right.
that's good. I like that. The danger level for you is really high here, Talbot, because if you get a 6 on the dark die, you're dead. So there we go. So just FYI. So you're fully aware of the stakes here.
Yep.
Let's, however, talk about what could go wrong if the roll fails. Thoughts, Blaine or Adrian?
Could just get buried under the skeletons.
Maybe Erebus reverses the spell onto Talbot.
Oh, counterspell. Yeah, counterspell's pretty good. I like that. I'm going to go really wild and say, because this is like an extra dimensional space, I'm going to say the whale tears apart the extra dimensional space, creating even more problems. So those are some options that we'll be dealing with. Guess which one I'm going to pick if you fail. So go ahead, let's get your dice sorted out. Do you have a relevant skill?
Skills. Artifacts, myths, obfuscation, transformation. Maybe
That's
if we're in an extra dimensional space, maybe myths. Maybe we've entered into sort of a mytho-fictional realm.
That's a bit of a stretch. I like what you're going there, but it feels like a bit of a stretch. What about your equipment? I will also tell you have 3 equipment slots as well. You can the 3 slots, you can just grab something from the drop down there. Like if you click on the drop down, you have a whole list of things that you can choose from. And
nice.
And so if you can find just like an item that you're like using to do the whale, that would be great. Or otherwise working into the spell.
Oh, maybe the whistle?
Perfect. I love it. So go ahead and just select that.
All right, selecting the whistle.
Yeah, so you have your light die for the whistle and Devil's Bargains. I'm going to say no matter what, there is a tear in the dimensional space. It's not an immediate problem, but it is something that will have to be dealt with. It's a hard bargain, but that's my offer.
I think maybe in this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Adrian.
No, please go ahead.
I was going to say maybe no matter what, because of like the stress of the situation and how close Talbot is to ruin, maybe Talbot, no matter what, loses control of his beast curse.
Super good.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
I could tell that's what Adrian was about to say too. Yeah.
Figure something
I just go full Bloodborne boss.
Great.
Yeah. I like that as well. Yeah.
So let's see. Let's say, I mean, this is just a standard one in a way. No matter what, we are cut off from the treasure, so we won't be able to take anything from here.
That's tough. That's a tough one. All right. What do you think, Mark?
I really like the Beast Curse one. That's my favorite.
Good. All right. Sounds good. You got 2 light dice and you have to roll dark. So go risk 2-1.
Okay. So it's / risk 2-1.
Yeah, with a space between the 2 and the 1.
Cool. Oh, wrong. I posted in the wrong forum. Let me
Yes. That's exactly how to do it though.
Oh, good. Excellent. Okay. Bingo.
All right.
443.
Okay, so good news is your ruin cannot go up because your ruin can only go up if the dark die is higher, so higher than your current. So that's good. And a 4 is a success, which is also good. I do think that the complication is going to be quite simply that because you lose control in your beast-bitten form, either Sister Reyna or a mouse has to do something to bring you out of it. Some kind of risk roll will be involved. However, it will be enough to disrupt the spell, and it will buy them both. It'll buy one of them enough time to take some other action, either like attacking Erebus or trying to find out how to escape or something. and the other one will have to deal with you in your beast bitten form. So this is your big spotlight moment right here, Talbot. Give us the description. What does the spell look like? What does the transformation look like? You can go full Dark Souls if you want. I love that. I think that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So basically, Talbot, he gets the whistle and he lets out the wail, but the wail is actually like growing beyond his control to the point it's distending his jaw, and mouth and neck are growing in comparison. Just growing silver white hair, blood red eyes like all over his body, hunching over like a dire wolf, and claws. He's grown to at least 9 feet tall standing, and every time he's just like there's just nothing in his mind but just lunging and shrieking.
I love it. It reminds me a lot of well, like all the Bloodborne bosses are like wolf bosses, right? But I'm especially thinking of the one that's the priestess in the church in the cathedral. I can't remember.
Oh yes, the cleric beast.
Yeah, the cleric beast. Yeah,
big vibes of that.
Yeah, cleric beast vibes for sure. I love it. Fabulous. Well, quite a scene. Okay, so Sister Reyna and Mouse. The problem is in Talbot's form. Talbot is a problem, so you need to figure out how to deal with that. You each get to take one action here before Erebus like gets control of his magic again.
So I guess I have, Adrian, I don't know what you would probably be more inclined to do. Like, I have a ritual that I might be able to make an argument for helping Talbot, but I also have like deception and all of the like skills that might help us find a hidden door.
So Jason, can you remind us? So Blaine, right? Blaine,
he is there.
He basically he's there. He told us like that he basically what we're doing here is kind of helping him clear this place out, so he can give us a bit of treasure, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's going to give you a portion of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what we of course we don't want to kill Talbot, but if I'm not sure if you would allow me to do this with this ritual, but if I use switch to switch Talbot and Blaine, and then basically we can fight Blaine and get out there.
That would be pretty wild. But that would require Talbot to be in Blaine's body, right? And then
exactly.
But then Blaine, I guess, but the new Blaine, I guess, is the inheritor of the estate, right? So that's it's devious, but it's good. What do we think, group? I mean, do we have buy-in from everybody on that, or?
I don't think Mouse has ever claimed to be a good person.
It's true. It's true.
And the ability to both destroy an Ajani painting and get a bunch of treasure seems like it would be good on all accounts.
Are you then going to fight Blaine in that form?
Well, I think even better would of course be if that kind of new Blaine / Talbot beast would have to deal with the skeletons and we can try to get out of there.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, also, I think we could make a case that like in the new Blaine body, your ruin wouldn't be quite as high, right? Talbot, like you'd probably just back down to your starting level. So you could actually handle the fight if it came to a fight, or at least have a better crack at it. And Blaine presumably has some kind of armor too. So
and Mouse could maybe go looking for the token that we need. So
right. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. I think this is an interesting idea. This is highly dangerous, Sister Reyna, but I'm here for it. You have let's talk about what could happen if it goes wrong. I mean, gosh, feels like there's a million things that could happen if it goes wrong. I think it could be quite simply that what goes wrong is the switch happens, but it's too much for Talbot to deal with, and he's like in shock, like in the new body, right?
I was gonna say maybe the switch happens and then Blaine is very upset with Sister Reyna.
I don't know if that would be a thing I would lean on, just because it kind of implies like how the role play will have to go, but I can kind of see where you're going with that, and I think I could work it into the failure if it comes to it. I can figure out a variation on that if I decide to go with that. Mark, do you have any thoughts on what could go wrong here?
Yes, I do. So if the ritual goes wrong, rather than the souls of Talbot and Blaine switching, the bodies of Talbot and Blaine merge physically, and the whole like turns into a fleshy
horrifying
mass.
thing.
Yeah. The beast becomes an even stronger abomination, like with Blaine's meat absorbed into it.
I'm actually kind of hoping that you fail here, Adrian, because I'm really loving some of these ideas. Okay, so let's talk about your dice. What about your first die, Raina?
I guess I have to. Well, I mean, I have surgery, but I'm not sure if that applies.
I don't think so. Not in this.
But I think I'll pick something from my backpack.
Go for it.
Let's see. Let's see. Probably something to do the ritual with. So I guess face paint, I guess, to kind of basically use to paint the two, like touch the two of them with the paint.
Okay, I like it. That's good. All right. Okay. All right. You got one light die. Devil's bargains. Who has Devil's bargain? Mine's going to be no matter what, you have to combat Blaine.
Mine's going to be no matter what, you have to combat Talbot.
Oh, interesting.
I was going to say maybe no matter what, during this ritual that like swaps the bodies, maybe like the souls have to pass through you, and like some of Talbot's rage is left behind.
So like he gets the curse.
We'll see. What do you think, Adrian? You can also decline them as well. You don't have to take one.
Can you, so the second one, so the first one was, right, the first one was, do we have to fight Blaine? And what exactly happens no matter what on the second one?
It sounds like you have to fight Talbot for some reason. We don't know why.
Oh,
that
Talbot,
would be.
yeah,
We'll figure it
okay,
out.
yeah.
I just assumed maybe it won't work.
Sure.
I just assumed he was in this like beast rage.
Oh,
Yeah,
you have to fight the beast.
Out at
Oh, I
everything.
get it. Mine
Yeah.
is you have to fight the beast. You have to fight Blaine as the beast. Mark's is you have to fight Talbot as the beast, and Mouse's or Blaine's. Too many Blaines. Blaine's is that you actually take in the spirits as the sort of like portal between, and that has implications. So.
I think it makes sense that we have to fight Blaine, the beast.
You have 2 light dice and do your dark die as well. Risk 2-1. Hey, that's good.
I don't think there's a better possible roll in trophy.
That is a 6 light, 2 6 lights, and a 1 dark is indeed the absolute best roll in trophy. It does not get better. That's great. I love it. We'll come back to this in a moment. I do want to pick up with Mouse though. Mouse, you have a bit of time here too while Sister Raina's dealing with that situation. I assume you're going to look for a way out, right?
Yeah, I'm going to try to kind of like just fade back into the shadows and start looking like, and my first thought is like a secret door somewhere, just checking the walls.
I love it. It's good. Go ahead and roll, make a hunt roll. If you can justify with a piece of equipment or a skill, you get 2 dice.
I have lockpicks as equipment goes. I have deception under skills.
I could see maybe lockpicks if you have some kind of like little tool for like,
checking for like creases or cracks in the wall and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So hunt 2. That is a 6.
That is indeed a 6. You do not find any kind of escape physically in the wall. You do, however, get your hunt roll token, giving you all enough to spend to escape when you need to. So that is sorted. Okay. So I think the way this is going to go, because you rolled so well, Sister Raina, I'm going to take over the fiction a bit and say that, first of all, describe the process of the switch. I want to know what that's like first.
I think in this moment where Sister Rina sees that we are really in, we don't have any idea at the moment how to get out of here, and we don't look too good, and this is all really, really dangerous. And so I think, like, with basically she kind of jumps forward, and while she moves, she takes this small little statue with face paint from her belt and opens it up, and then with both hands kind of outstretched, she touches both Talbot and Blaine and stands there in the middle of the skeletons, kind of holding both of them.
And I want to just know what that experience is like when you are instantly zapped into Blaine's body. Talbot, what is that like?
I'm imagining that for within an instant, like Talbot feels all the rage inside him drain away, and the first thing saying, "Oh, I'm changing back," but then we see the camera pan back, and he can actually see himself leaving his own body. So he's watching his own bestial form just like tearing everything apart, and while it drifts farther away, wondering, everything, what's going on, until he sinks back. He has this feeling of becoming flesh again, but it's not his flesh. And he's waking up, and he's looking at hands that are in his hands and seeing his own body, but acting without him, and just in shock. Like,
I love it. So right now, Talbot, you have one leather armor, and you have whatever your starting ruin is. Well, I think it's 4 for you, right? So
yep.
Your starting ruin is 4, and you do have a leather armor, so you can take a couple hits if you have to. I will tell you at this point that the beast-bitten form, the sort of monstrous wolf form of Blaine, is losing it. I mean, like howling and roaring and just swinging claws wildly, swings down and like slashes across Erebus so deeply that Erebus like is basically bisected. It's like he just like rips right through Erebus, and Erebus like just blood and guts and shit splatter everywhere as his torso falls off his legs. And now the beast is on you. Let's deal with the beast. We'll deal with the beast first. You do have your 3 tokens if you want to escape, but you'll always have to deal with the beast whenever you go back to the vault. So
yeah, if we want that treasure, we're gonna have to deal with the beast at some point.
The death of Erebus, can we see the skeletons kind of fall apart?
Yeah, they stopped.
Okay.
They stopped
so
when
we
the
have
magic
the
was
beast now to
disrupted.
deal with. Okay, that's great. Okay, yeah.
If you want to combat the beast right now, it is endurance 11. And because it's beast bitten, if you don't kill it, or no, it's endurance 10. And because it's beast bitten, if you don't and resistant to damage, if you don't kill it in the first round, the endurance goes up to 11 on the second round. So your best shot is in the first round. So please,
let's go. Right?
Yeah, tell us how you are vulnerable and roll your.
Are you guys okay with that? Should we? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell me how you're vulnerable and roll your weak point, please.
I'm assuming I'm still in shock because my soul has been transplanted into another body. That's my weak point.
Yeah, yours is straightforward.
I think I'm still in the middle of all of this, kind of just pulling back my arms from the 2. So I'm just exposed in the middle of the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And weak point is 1.
Another one.
Oh, we're very good at matching weak points. I think that a large part of, great, a 6 for me. A large part of how Mouse is vulnerable is just the massive size differential. Like Mouse is like barely over 5 foot. So this thing is almost twice his size and like just could destroy Mouse almost just with a look.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we've got a 1, a 1, and a 6 for weak points. Let's do combat 3. Sister Reyna, do the honors of the combat 3, please. 5, 2,
7.
and 1, which means Talbot, you are taking a hit, and 7 is not enough to defeat the wolf creature. Let's start. Talbot, if you want to mark your armor, just work that into your narration as well. Otherwise, you can just take your single hit. If you decide to save your armor, an armor will protect you from like if you took 2 hits in the next round, the armor blocks all of it. So you may want to like take strategically, it might be worth taking the hit now and saving it for when you might get a double hit in the future, right? So.
Okay, yeah, I'll take the hit now, and that just adds to my ruin.
Yeah, so you're going up to 5, which means you get to fight one more time at least, because the armor can block all of whatever you take in the second round.
Right.
But go ahead and kick it off. Go ahead and kick it off, Talbot. How's it go?
Okay. So I noticed looking at the character sheets, I've read that Mouse in his equipment has a silver candlestick, and singing going with the whole lycanthropy theme. I'm wondering if I would basically go, and if Mouse, you're okay with this, I would yell, "Mouse, candlestick," have him throw it to me, and then basically use it to bludgeon the beast with this silver weapon.
And yet you take a hit. How does that go?
Okay, that sounds good.
Oh yeah, just describe it.
Oh, right. I take the hit. I try to swing, but my swing comes too slow, and the beast managed to slash at me before I can connect.
Very good. Keep it going, Sister Reyna.
So I also take a hit, and I'm still just recovering like from the ritual and moving a bit back to try to draw my sword, and the beast just gets me.
Mouse, keep it going.
So I think that because Mouse had kind of faded into the shadows, looking for this secret door some way out, I think Mouse is still kind of with this size differential, just like trying to keep in the shadows. And so like he darts out every now and then and tries to like take a slash at the wolf. But like with both of his companions being kind of dazed, the wolf is still kind of too aware of him and is able to kind of block Mouse's shot as he like scampers back into a shadow or behind a giant stack of Scrooge McDuck money.
I like it. Okay, before we do the second combat roll, I'll tell you again, you can spend your tokens to learn how to escape before you do the second combat roll. That is a group decision.
I'm
so
personally
I have no more armor, but I'm good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I don't have much of a say in this conversation, being at both the lowest ruin and still having my armor. Like, I am pretty okay staying in, but I also understand that is a position of privilege.
No, I'm cool staying in too. Go ham or go home.
Yeah, Talbot can take a hit too.
Let's
Sister
go.
Reyna, can you take a hit?
I can't, but we'll
So it
figure out
goes.
what happens.
Combat 4, take it away, Mouse. And you need 11 this time. You got it. Very good.
And no ones, but
yeah.
I do take a hit, and I think I will mark my armor.
I love it. This is great. The dice roller is rewarding you all for being bold. You know that? It's really good. All right, Talbot, give us the first part of the next round. What's happening?
Okay. Next round is I managed to. The beast comes in for a second swing after first hitting me, but I managed to get just under it, and it sort of overextends itself. So this time I actually take the sharp end of the candlestick and ram it into his armpit, and we can actually hear the skin sizzle as it comes in contact with the silver.
I love it. Keep going, Mouse.
So I think Mouse is able to kind of like look around the room and find like a series of treasures that get progressively taller. So like he puts a foot off of like one of the mounds of gold, and then like parkours off of like a pedestal with like a little statue on it, and kind of just leaps up and drives his knife into like the back of the werewolf.
Nice, I love it. All right, finish it off, Sister Rena.
So I think this was exactly the time that Sister Rena needed to go back. She was hit by the beast, and then she drew her sword and just swings it and just decapitates the beast. Sorry, Talbot.
Nice. You get a gold roll on the beast. Go ahead and Talbot, since it was your body, go ahead and roll.
Sure.
Roll gold 11.
Yep.
Hey,
4.
good result. 4. That kind of makes up for all the last ones, actually, a little
Yeah.
bit. Okay, so it's 4. Talbot, why don't you take the extra since it was your body? But basically, just name what body part you're taking from the what body parts you're taking from the creature to sell, and then put 1 gold behind it. So
I would take whatever's left of the creature's pelt, and it'll go perfectly with my already existing winter wolf pelt, which is also the pelt of my grandmother. So I basically got my skin and my grandma's skin right on my belt next to each other.
if you take I think we'll make just the single pelt worth 2 gold. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sister Rena, what will you take from the creature?
A tooth, a large tooth.
Okay, good, worth 1 gold. And Mouse?
I think Mouse has heard that that beast cursed eyes are good for like divination rituals and stuff, and so to continue his quest, he's going to take the eyes of the beast.
Awesome.
Stick 'em in your brain.
I think what I want to do next, so I'll tell you how much treasure you're getting between the vault and what was in the stash, because there's a stash as well. Between both, it's a huge amount of treasure because you're getting basically all of it, because you're in because Blaine's not around to claim any of it. And so
Blaine's right here. Blaine
yeah.
is here for it.
You are
What about Blaine?
Yeah. What about Blaine? Stool boom.
Yes.
I knew what you were referring to. So it's a lot of money. You each get 12 gold from this. It's a huge amount. So you can just note 12 gold in your cash, in your little gold section of your character keeper. And what I want to do next is we'll take a little break. When we come back from the break, I want to do 2 things. One, I want to do little mini epilogues for just Mistmoor Manor. So, maybe you square up with Rebecca, maybe you do something else, I don't know, but but just sort of like get just like the last little bits of what we see you doing at Mistmoor Manor, essentially. And then we'll go do the Hearthfire procedure for the characters, and then we'll call it a session. So let's take like a 5-minute break, and we'll come back and do that stuff. Okay.
Sounds good.
So what I'd like to do here is have a little Mistmoor Manor epilogue. Just anything you want to see your character kind of wrapping up in the scene. We'll do that now. Try to avoid the dungeon, because there are some like really specific things in the dungeon that I don't really care to get into right now. Unless you were meeting Rebecca for sexy times with the ghosts in the dungeon, Mouse, that's okay. We can kind of see that if you wish, if that's where you're going with it. But in any case, let's just start with Talbot. Talbot, in Blaine form, what does this look like?
I guess Blaine would consider what was, and so Talbot / Blaine will consider what was formerly his body, and at the same time he's in shock, but then he also realized, wait a minute, I'm free of the curse, and I am also in the body of the nobleman who technically owns all this. And he turns for a second, he looks his hands, and he looks his companions, and he says, Well, as the lord of this manor, I say you all deserve a raise.
Good, I like it. Go ahead, Sister Raina, give us your little mini epilogue.
I think, Sister Rena, so we bring out the treasure from the vault finally, and Sister Rena kind of stays behind a bit after all the treasure is gone, and she walks over to where the broken figure of Erebus lies, and she picks up the little spell book that is like under the robe, like bound in skin. She looks at it, it's like, and then she leaves.
Yeah. I also forgot to tell you how you escape. So the escape, assuming you've spent the tokens, please do unmark the tokens. Basically what you'll notice, Mouse, is that one of the treasures inside is a sort of like silver and gold shield that depicts a Medusa, the Gorgon, which of course was the entry word, and we see a Pegasus like escaping the island of the Medusa with a warrior on top of it, and so you deduce that the escape word is Pegasus, and so there was also a Pegasus in the Aegino painting as well, and so that's how you escape, is just by speaking that command word. You're able to escape. Let's go with your epilogue now, please, or Mouse.
So I think once we've gotten all of the treasure out of the vault, we see Mouse go upstairs to that painting. And I think because there's this like deep evil magic imbued in these paintings, there's like a special ritual for destroying them. And so I think Mouse like lights 2 candles and uses his darkness ritual, and the darkness actually like infuses into the candlelight. So it's like pure black candlelight. And it kind of starts to wrap around the painting. And Mouse uses his very sharp dagger to cut into where the heart of the figure on the painting is. And he reaches in and actually pulls out like a real human heart. And as that comes out, the painting like starts to burn and sizzle and fall to ashes.
That's great. I love it. I guess if you want to add that as a piece of equipment, you can. You can editorialize it however you want on there. As you're all leaving with the last bits of the treasure, perhaps, Brock and Psyche have, they got your horses and they've procured a carriage or a cart for you, and you're all hauling off the last bits of it away from Mistmoor Manor. We see that window looking out to the courtyard, and we see the 3 sisters step up to the window. We see Reverie holding her candle, Rebecca with a wistful, forlorn look on her face, looking for her Tommy, and Regine covered in blood. And that will conclude the Ghost of Mistmoor Manor. Let's go to Hearthfire. So at this point, if you would all like to go to the character tab and scroll down a little bit, and underneath the heavy black line is where Hearthfire begins. And the top portion of the Hearthfire is the Hoard. This is where any unspent gold at the end of Hearthfire will go. And this is also like basically your tracker for how close you are to achieving your drive. And so once you get 50 gold, you have accomplished your drive. But from there, it goes to just different parts of Hearthfire. So whenever you stash gold into your Hoard, there are some little questions you have to answer. Down below, that is household. You can actually establish a household for your character, and you get to tell us a little bit about that. And then also it lets you clear a condition and a ruin, or clear all your conditions and lowers your ruin by 1. It also increases your burdens by 1, however. You also get to, you could carouse if you wanted to. Maybe I don't know. That one's maybe more important if we know for sure we're playing again. We might, I don't know. But in any case, I probably wouldn't focus on that one today. We have equipment. You can basically spend gold to unlock your equipment slots that you pick equipment from. The library allows you to learn new spells. Training allows you to learn new skills. Healing is how you get your ruin, or one of the ways you can get your ruin back down to your starting ruin. And you have 3 options there that let you do it for free, or you can spend a gold to lower it once. And the last 2 things are funeral and fate, which are not relevant right now. But in any case, what I like to do is just go around the table and find out what you each are interested in doing for Hearthfire. You can do multiple things. The last thing should be stashing your leftover gold in the hoard. You have to put your leftover gold that's not equipment. You have to put that in the hoard. So I'll start with Sister Reyna. What would you like to do for Hearthfire?
Healing. I think we see Sister Reyna go back to this monastery close to the town where she was doing contemplative kind of meditation, and where she kind of got into this. There's an old abbot that kind of is her mentor, and she comes there. She kind of they have like clean clothes, so she changes out of this bloody rags that she's wearing, puts the sword and the shield to the side, and sits down there and starts to meditate.
Nice. And so you were doing narrate a scene showing a truly beautiful place in or near town. Awesome. You get to lower your ruin by 1. We'll keep going around the table. Mouse, what would you like to do?
So I think I want to establish a household. My first question, because this is kind of a question for Talbot/Blaine. How opposed would you be to Mouse's household being Rebecca's room at Mistmoor Manor?
Good by me.
I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think like Mouse has like a little like nook in town where he kept all his stuff previously, and we see him like moving that into the manor.
Nice. That's good. Okay, so increase your burdens by 1, and then you get to lower your ruin by 1 and clear all conditions if you wish. And you have to answer the following. Okay, what kind of structure or environment is your household? Well, you've already said that. And then ask the other players which memento from this adventure can be found in that household. And it could be something that we didn't see on screen. It could be something like you found later or whatever.
Excellent. I love this portion of the household builder.
I'll start though. I'll say that you have I think you have the shackles that that Rebecca was going to shackle you with down in the dungeon to play jailer and prisoner.
I'll suggest the silver candlestick that was used to finally kill the beast at the end of our adventure. Probably still a little bent from when it was used as a weapon, but still usable.
Maybe a little sticky with something that is decidedly not mixed berry jam.
Agreed.
So the painting that you destroyed was the one that was the entryway, right, to the vault, right?
Yeah.
So I think the painting that you took was the last one that was not destroyed, painting of the sisters. Of one of the sisters.
It's Regine, I think, was the only one. So.
I think so, yeah. Regine's painting.
Very good.
Scratch Regine out and write Rebecca.
Exactly. Nobody will know.
Yeah, they're triplets.
Awesome. I think it's also interesting if like the little like the little like the raven in it that's kind of like hidden, depending on how you look at it. Maybe that's not there anymore. I think that would be kind of interesting because now that Erebus is dead. Okay, let's go to Talbot. Talbot, what would you like to do for Hearthfire?
Okay, so for my Hearthfire, the first thing comes to mind is definitely healing. And I'm going to narrate a scene showing a private side of you few others see. And the thing I'm thinking is, so under his guise of Lord Blaine, Talbot uses his influence to contact the local barber surgeon for some high quality, stitching and bleeding. And as he's doing this, the barber surgeon is looking his hands, and he says, "My lord, it's very strange." And I'm like, "What? I've not noticed this before, but your ring finger is longer than your middle finger. Is this a recent development?" And he pauses for a moment and says, "Oh, no, childhood injury. It's nothing to be made a point of." And the barber surgeon walks away, but at the same time, he looks at his hand and realizes maybe this curse isn't as gone as he thought it was.
Good, I like it. Go ahead and lower your ruin by 1.
All right. And then I was thinking for household.
We'll come back to that. We're just
okay.
going to go around and round robin
Cool.
style. Sister Reina, what would you like to do next?
We will see Sister Arena at the monastery, but in her cell. And she has the spellbook out, the necromancer spellbook, and she's going through it. And we see her, she put like some sticks on the ground in the form of a human figure. It's starting small. So she is going to learn the Unliven Ritual, give flesh and breath to a human effigy. And she closes her eyes and speaks a couple of words, and then puts her hand over the sticks, and they kind of rise up and start to move around the room.
I love it. That's great. So your burdens go up by 1, just having the spell book is a burden. And but you have the Unliven Ritual now. That's awesome. Let's go to Mouse. What would you like to do next?
I think I'm going to do one of the healing scenes. I'm going to narrate a scene showing a private side of you that few others see. And I think as what we see is as Mouse is moving his belongings into Mistmoor Manor, one of the last things he unpacks is a painting that is very obviously an Agino painting that has not been destroyed. And in it, it is a painting of 2 figures. One is a man with like very kind of worn out hands who looks incredibly similar to Mouse. And the other is a woman holding a violin. And he hangs the painting up and kind of looks at it in this way that like he's disgusted by having it, but he can't bring himself to destroy it.
That's great. You can go ahead and heal 1. Also, we should have done this first. You have to meet your burdens in the beginning of Hearthfire. I forgot to say that. So before they increased, you have to erase gold equal to your burdens, or erase treasures equal to your burdens. It's up to you. And when you do that, you unmark your armor.
just to note real quick, if we do come back to these characters at all, of the treasures I found, I'm selling 2 of them, but I'm keeping the werewolf eyes.
Okay, sounds good. How's everybody else sorting out their burdens?
I'm selling the barn spider venom for 1 gold, and then
Using 2 of
and
your
then
cash.
2 of my cash, yeah. And then I'm gonna clear the rest of the burdens from with the gold I have now.
Yeah, well, so you have 3. You had 3 before we started, right? So
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so the venom and 2 gold should do it.
Okay.
Sister Raina, how are you sorting your burdens out?
Selling everything but the prayer to speak with the dead, so beast tooth, key, and the hymnal. Yeah, that's it. And I think we like she takes the little folded paper with the prayer from the hymnal and kind of tucks it in a pocket.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, that's great. Actually, what were your burdens before? Or you're all sorted. Oh, I think your burdens were they 4, or you acquired the leather armor later?
Yeah,
right?
I was 3. So
yeah, you
that
were.
should
No,
be
I'm
fine.
sorry, Talbot. Yours were.
Right.
Was yours 3 before or 4?
There were 3.
Okay, because you got the leather armor later. That's right. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry. Good. Okay. So they're that number stays. You just have to meet it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Although if you keep that leather armor, it goes up by 1. So just know that. If you keep the leather armor, or if you don't get rid of your coat thing, your burden.
Okay, I'm gonna get rid of the leather armor then.
Okay. Okay. So Talbot, let's go back to you. What would you like to do for Hearthfire now?
Okay. I'm going to go to household, and I'm wondering is now that I am in the body of Lord Blaine, can I use this to establish Mistmoor Manor?
Yeah.
As my household?
Well, so he has his own. They have a manor already that they didn't really live in. Yeah.
Oh.
It is the Lord Blaine's household, which you're entitled to, I suppose, until somebody figures out what's up. And and you also have Mistmoor Manor, so you got both. Yeah.
Wow. Should invest in real estate.
Yeah. Well, you have all taxes to pay too.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
That might be the source of further adventure. Who knows?
Agreed.
What would you like to do, though, as far as the household goes? Which one are you going to actually make the sort of mechanical household?
I like the idea of making Mistmoor Manor the household, especially since Mouse has a house of room there. It makes a good base of operations.
Sounds good. Well, let's talk about mementos. What mementos do we have from the adventure that we're going to note down? Mine's a little unusual, but I'm going to say that you made a piece of decorative wall art from the book covers of the books that the bookworm destroyed. You can write that down however you want, but that's what it is.
Well, cool. Okay, book cover art.
I think one of the first things that Blaine did is basically getting like one of the most expensive bottles of liquor from the Blaine household and bring it to Mistmoor Manor.
Good.
So I think, and maybe I'm open to suggestions here, but I think one of the mementos we see is something of Talbot's, like from the body that maybe you took before I imagine we just left the body in the vault.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe his mounted skull.
That's gruesome.
like that.
It, yeah. And as a-
my initial
skull
thought
or-
was gruesome,
like
but
a wolf skull. Is that what we mean?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
would
okay.
look like it's like a dire wolf skull almost. Like you could pass it off as one. Anyone who actually knows monsters, like there's something up with that. But it's
I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, great. You get to lower your ruin by 1, and you also get to clear your conditions if you wish.
cool. Yeah,
And
shall
your
clear that
burdens go up.
condition.
Your burdens go up by 1 as well.
Burdens go up by 1. Got it.
Okay. Going back around the table, Sister Raina, anything else you'd like to do?
I think I'm going to stash the money in the hoard.
All right. Let's read that. The first time you stash your gold in your hoard, complete both of the following. Where do you keep your hoard so no one can find it? And narrate a flashback to the moment your drive became important to you. If you need a moment, I'll give you a moment.
No, it's fine. So I think basically where she stashes it for now, as Talbot/Blaine has taken over Mistmoor Manor, is under the porch in that little in that little place under the porch where the thieves were stashing their stuff. So at the whole back there, closing back up, that's where she leaves it.
Nice. Do you want to do your flashback now, or do you want to wait a bit?
Yes. So basically, what we see is her former partner, right? That she was that died. We see a scene where there's basically on her deathbed, and she tells Raina that she has to go to cross the bridge and go there and go to the biggest monastery there.
Nice. Good. Thank you. And you got a ton of gold to put in your things. That's great. Okay, Mouse, what would you like to do next?
I think the last thing I'm going to do before stashing is I want to learn a new ritual.
Okay, fabulous. Let's just read that bit real quick. You have your few small spell books you carry with you. Studying them unlocks a new ritual at a cost of 1 burden per ritual. You add that to the library section of your little character sheet. Go ahead and tell us the how you have to tell us. It looks like how mastery of the ritual subtly affects your physical appearance.
So I learned guide, and I think that like when you look at Mouse now, like it's really hard to tell unless you're like right up in his face. But it looks like at like the corners of his eyes, there is like gold thread actually like sewn into his skin. That almost keeps his eyes like a little bit more closed than normal. Not like sewn shut, but just like right at the corners. They're almost a little droopy. But it's because of this gold thread that has appeared.
Ooh, that's interesting. I like it. Fabulous. Thank you. Your burden's increased by 1, and you get the guide ritual for your library. Talbot, anything else you'd like to do?
No, I'd just like to hoard the rest of my gold.
Sounds good. Where do you keep it so no one can find it? And give us a flashback to when your drive became important to you.
Okay, so I say I keep the gold in various like lock boxes and foot lockers strewn around the Mistmoor Manor. And I guess flashback of when my drive became important to me was I have a memory back of being in my mother's study and her showing me, all her books of academics, books of genealogies, and I see my mother's and my grandmother's diploma and in this very old university, and I'm trying to follow her lessons, but I'm clearly struggling with it. I'm clearly not as much of a prodigy as my mother or grandmother were, but it's very important for me to do this. So I just sort of get this grim determination of I'm going to be a scholar like my mom and grandma.
I love it. Thank you. and you're getting to store 9 gold, it looks like. So that's awesome. Okay, so let's just go back to Mouse then. Mouse, do you want to go ahead and do Hoard?
Yeah. So I think the place that Mouse stashes his treasure is we see him like go into like the Great Hall of Mistmoor Manor, and he actually like crawls into the fireplace and like scurries up, like pulls himself up like halfway up and pulls out like a little stone, and there's like a little nook behind this stone in the fireplace, and that is where he stashes his treasure.
You all better hope the Duke doesn't come sack Mistmoor Manor looking for taxes.
Halfway up a fireplace is probably like, they're not going to find it. I can sneak back in if I need to.
Yeah, that's good.
So is Blaine going to Talbot / Blaine going to get together with the daughter of the Duke now? That's what I want to know.
It's a good question.
One step at a time.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I'm still trying to. Yeah. What's the word?
Yeah.
Processing a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Okay, so let's have your flashback, Mouse.
So I think we see Mouse, and like he doesn't, like, because he looks so young. Like I think in this flashback he doesn't look any younger. Like it's almost hard to identify this as a flashback and being in the past. But we see him like in a room of an old, like dilapidated castle, with the 2 people from that painting. And he's pleading with them, just telling them like, you know, this Agino is a charlatan, and all he does is evil, and he's begging and pleading with them to leave with him, saying like, I found a way out. I need you to come with me. And the older man, who's obviously Mouse's father, just continues to refuse and say like, no, like we have seen the good that Agino does in the world, and he needs us here to help him with his art. And finally Mouse just kind of like pulls his hood up, and like, so I think because it's this like castle that's falling into disrepair, he actually like pulls himself up a wall and over and out of the castle, leaving it behind.
I love it. That concludes our series for this Halloween weekend. Let's have stars and wishes. I will begin and say that for a star, this could be stars and wishes for the whole series, not just today. But for today, boy, that final sequence was really fun. It was good. It was just, we were on the knife's edge several times, and the dice did not betray you. The dice, like, there were so many times the dice could totally have betrayed you, but you were all rewarded for your boldness. And that was, I love it when that happens. Because I think there were literally like 3 moments when like characters could be dead, right? Like, and maybe more. But it was very exciting. It was a great way to finish up the dungeon, and I liked it a lot. Had a great time with it. As far as like sort of big picture wishes, as far as the whole series goes, I really enjoy Mistmoor Manor. The Ghost of Mistmoor Manor is a fun dungeon, and it's structured really well. You all got like almost the entire story, so you got to see almost everything. There's a couple of little like nuances that we didn't get to quite see, and there's also the dungeon, there's a fucking black dragon. But the black dragon is it's stuffed, but so it's a stuffed black dragon. So when you first see it, it looks like a black dragon in the chamber, but it's taxidermied, but Erebus can animate it, so like there's a chance you have to fight it, right? A sort of zombie black dragon. We did not get to see that. We were going to get to see that if you had followed Rebecca down into the dungeon. In our canon, I don't know if that exists or not. We'll just say in the canon of our story that black dragon is not down in the dungeon, but had you gone down there in the game, I think we would have done that. That would have been fun. But yeah, it was a super fun series. Everybody did a great job with just getting into the tone and getting into the mood and doing characterization. It was all really enjoyable for a very like, it's a pretty combat light scenario, but we got such a good one at the end that like you almost don't even notice it. And otherwise it's just quite a social scenario, and I really like loved all that about it. So good times. I don't think I have any wishes. I would have liked to have seen the dragon, but that's kind of the only one, I guess. Yeah. My other wish is more of a calendaring and schedule wish, which is I really like these characters quite a lot, and I like the story quite a lot. And I think what I'd like to do, since I have to run these modules to support my podcast, Fear of a Black Dragon, what I think I might do is just periodically, when I have a thing I want to kind of just run for the show, I might just chime in with the three of you and see if you want to, pick up a session or two just to keep the characters going and so I can get the dungeon run. So I think that'd be a lot of fun. Whoever wants to go next, take it away.
Stars for me, I really liked the whole werewolf transformation and a body swap thing. I was such a fantastic climax. Just this crazy beast fighting skeletons and everyone working together to stop it. And I really like the adventure Mistmoor Manor. I'm going to try to look for it and use it in my own games if I can. And wishes, no, I don't really, except I also wanted to see the dragon now that you mentioned it, so I can't wait to see that in the module. Yeah, no,
I'll post up the PDF for you all. I think the don't come get me, Watsy. I think that one thing I'll say is, if you do read through it, you'll notice like we did almost everything. Like we got like the pretty full experience using trophy gold as a lens, and I think that was really, really great. Like very, very little was left on the table here, except for the dragon pointedly, but otherwise not so much.
Yeah, now that I know that there's a dragon, I am a little bit sad we didn't get to see it. And especially, I love that as like it being a stuffed dragon that like is terrifying when you first see it, and then you realize like, oh, it's just stuffed. And then the potential to bring it back as an actual zombie dragon is really clever. It is I love this module a lot. It was really good. I think trophy was a good way to interpret it. I think my biggest star for this session is definitely Adrian's body swap idea. Like the second I heard that, both like just because it made such a cool cinematic moment, and for us as desperate treasure hunters, this idea of sticking Blaine into the werewolf body and then killing it is dark, but kind of perfect for us.
Increased your payout a lot, because if you had not done that, you all were going to end up with 6 gold at the end. So yeah,
it's still like my trophy standard 6 gold is even.
My trophy gold standards is pretty high, yeah, but you got a really good one the way you did it. So
yeah, and I agree. I like these characters a lot. I had a ton of fun role playing with Adrian and Mark. Like Adrian, we've played a bunch together now at this point. And when I saw you log in on Friday, I was very happy to see that you were here. But Mark, it was great playing with you, and I would love to see these characters kind of come back and explore their dynamics some more.
Likewise.
Adrian, stars and wishes.
I really liked all of this. A big star for the dice roller helping us this tonight.
The dice roller was the hero when it needed to be.
For sure. So the funny thing is, like, I don't normally do this, but after you said in the very beginning that there's this character Blaine that is going to stick around with us, that's when I took the switch ritual exactly for this purpose of at one point doing a switch with Blaine. But the thing is, I kind of also did it because I thought maybe Blaine was kind of a character that would betray us or something, or that had some kind of hidden agenda, you know?
You're meant to think that because of the way that Psyche and Brock, the tricks they're playing. You're meant to kind of think that Blaine is like a traitor in some way. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, so actually quite earnest and genuine. Yeah.
So that was kind of classic. And so I in a way I was waiting for kind of the moment when switch with Blaine would be interesting, and then this was more than I had bargained for this scene, I guess. Thank you all.
Yeah, that's great. Any other stars or wishes before we go? Okay, well, I want to thank you all again. This is a really, really fun way to spend the weekend or part of the weekend. And I do hope we get to see these characters again. I think we will. We'll find a way to get them on the table again. But I'm going to stop the recording